Hello everyone, welcome to Epic Fantasy Battle Simulator. Uh, Basically a game that's you set up units and then you tell them to fight each other. And yeah, let's get into it. So, as we see here, these are, we have several maps. We have Corrupted Lands, Frozen Lands, Arid Lands, Elven Ruins, and Rift of Morgoroth. I guess they had to change it because I don't want it to sound like Morgoth and get copyrighted from Lord of the Rings. So we're just gonna go to Corrupted Lands and set up a battle. So here we have the Corrupted Lands. It's fairly hilly, got some cliffs. You can have some nice strategic maneuvers or something. So to show this off, yeah, we have lots of different units. These are just mods that I have. They basically add new other units, but we're basically just going to be using the vanilla units. We got West Kingdoms, which is basically humans, dwarves, elves, orcs, undead, fallen kingdoms, and monsters. Fallen kingdoms is like chaos warriors. So we're going to just open these up again. So now we're going to, like, each of these units has like a distinct way of fighting. Like swordsmen, these guys have basically just a sword. Swordsmen with a shield and brackets have a shield, as you can see, and they also look different. The long swordsmen have a long, like, two-handed weapon, so they wouldn't be able to use a shield too well. They also look different on the battlefield, which is also pretty cool. However, they don't really all match together. Spearmen have a spear, and the bowman has a bow, and are also covered in armor for the humans. And that's basically the thing for each of the races. Like if we go look at the elf duelist, it's basically the swordsman, shield master, and so on. They all have the same unit, so you can set it up however you want. However, there are differences between each unit. If we take the swordsman here, his health is 200 and his damage is 133. So he'll be able to kill another swordsman in 2 hits. And he also has a parry skill of 46. If we go to the elf duelist, it has less health, so 175 health, and a damage of 250. So less health, more damage, and a higher parry skill than that of the swordsman. If we look at the dwarves, they got even higher health and higher damage, and yeah, they also have less range than the humans and the elves, and they have a parry skill of 50, which is better than that of the swordsman. So, yeah, each race has their own unique stuff. Like swordsmen or the humans, the West Kingdoms are basically what I use for comparing. The dwarves are high health, high damage, essentially, or just higher health. So they're able to take a lot more damage while doing a fair amount more damage than compared to the humans. Like the Dwarf Slayer here has 500 health, some of the highest health in the game. And the damage is 125. If we look at the Longswordsmen, they have 400 health, and 160 damage. However, the Dwarf Ranger has 50 health and 17 damage, while the Bowman has 50 health and 14 damage. So the same amount of health, different amount of damage. But also range skill, so basically how far the range is, humans have 75, dwarves have 65, and elves have 90. So far the longest range. So you can see that elves have the range superiority. Orcs are kinda mediocre in stats. Like, their shield unit is just as strong as the swordsman of the humans. And the destroyer is almost as good as the shield man, so of the humans. So you can see that orcs are worse than the humans, and they have 25 health and only a range skill of 50 and a damage of 10. So their archers aren't really good. And the undead are basically weaker and less damage, and have terrible parrying skill, but you can really use them for large numbers. But just because that they have less health and less damage doesn't mean they're not as effective. So let's actually set up a fight. So we're going to set up that and go. We're going to bring in 10,000 troops, and then we're going to set in just to balance out. Yeah, gotta separate these teams. Now we just need 50 troops here. And they have the same amount of troops. So, same amount, and we'll see who will win. So as it's preparing for battle, it does that so that you don't have like squares of units not moving anywhere. And you'll see why I mean squares. So right now, they're just kind of charging along. But they form into squares or regiments, like squads. And basically that simplifies the control, so all units follow one squad, and then as the squad will move around as they see fit. And here we come to the fight. Got some pretty interesting flank moves over here. See them fighting. So far, the humans are winning by a slight margin, like a couple hundred troops more. We have the fighting. So the way it works is that as you fight, each unit, or every time you get hit, you get stunned. So it's possible to get stun locked and just get comboed on in combat. And if they can do that to you, you can do it to them. It's fair game. So basically just going to watch this to the end. Fighting this little corner. Also, another thing that you can do is press P and you can enter possess mode. We can take control of a unit. Yeah, I just got parried. Yeah. I got comboed. However, want to get back into the fight? Just possess another guy. It's a little help here, guys. I have unbreakable block because I have no stamina. The moment I stop blocking, they're gonna get me. See? Okay. Those guys are down. So now you can start seeing the squads a little bit better. Because they're basically just fighting in their squads now. You can see the battle line, skeletons and the humans. Well, not really skeletons, undead. Also, another cool thing to save on performance, it doesn't render on bodies that are off the screen. So all that extra space is just being used for performance. And there we go, the humans have won. So, and then after that, once we zoom out, so now that we have that, and we got to see that we're going to set up a multi-race battle. So I will get back to you once I finish setting that up. Alright everyone, welcome back. I've set up the battle. We have humans, that's team 1 over here, and each team has limited to 6,000 units except for team 5, because they're in the middle and holding position, and it's kind of hard to get the perfect amount of like the perfect 600 units, because their lines weren't all the same. So yeah, we have a little bit of problem there. So we have the humans. They have spearmen, swordsmen, and archers. Then we go over here. We have the dwarves on team 2. They have the their heavy unit, the slayer, and their shield warriors, or shield bearers as they're called. And then over here, up on the hills, I should zoom out so you can move faster at least. creep along. We're almost there. Over here we have the elves with their elf guard, the elf archer, and the elf duelist. The elves look a little bit wonky, but that's fine. They're elves. And then, after that, okay, pressing buttons. Once we can get over this bluff, here we go, and here are the orcs. They just have the orc crusher, which is basically their shield unit that has a mace. So, it's interesting. And then lastly, but not least, we have the undead that are actually holding position. Have this so that all units will come into the middle battleground, so that all fight together. So we're going to start the battle, and let us begin. And it looks like it's working. They're all charging towards the mill here. Now the trick is that once other units start to arrive, or get close enough, will they break off and attack, or will they just stick to their one target? Kind of reminds me from like the, or this kind of reminds me in the Siege of Gondor, when Denethor just looks over the walls and sees like the huge amount of orcs. Also, the undead have the most amount of archers, nearly 3,000 or so archers, to counteract the fact that they're standing still and are kind of weak. The range isn't the best though, so. But only 2 other factions have archers. Oh, here we go. Archers start firing down upon the dwarves. So far, no dwarves have gone down. And the elves are making their way in. We have the duelists coming in to rush headlong into the spears. The dwarves have already broken through. That's interesting. Here come the humans. Their archers are firing away. And we have the humans versus the dwarves. Let's see what happens. Oh, it looks like the... Dwarves are almost as tall as the humans. That's okay, I guess. We have the orcs and the elves fighting. And the elfish archers have gotten into battle. Is going to be problematic to the formation of the undead, as they won't charge out, meaning they'll be easy pickings for the elvish armies. looks like, though, it appears the winning team currently is the dwarves by a slight margin over the humans. That could slowly be growing bigger and bigger. Or, I might be reading this wrong, the dwarves might actually be dying out faster than anticipated. It's 1,000 of them to 2,000 of the humans. Probably doesn't help that the humans have a range advantage. Though it looks like the winner of this battle might be the elves, because they have that superior range. And this is the last stand of the dwarves. With that, all the dwarves are gone, and all the orcs have already been vanquished. So now it becomes humans versus undead versus elves. Now we'll see who the winner of this will be. The humans just gotta keep supplying their troops with a steady stream of arrows to get rid of the enemy. And spears are really good at getting you in stun locked. But it looks like the elves will be taking this victory. Not enough human warriors to go after the archers. And if it really comes down to it, it'll be just a range battle. But looks like it's going to come down to range and damage. And it probably doesn't help that the elves have the high ground, meaning they are able to shoot farther with less hassle. Yeah. Humans are struggling, but they're not going down without a fight. And that's pretty good. The elves are just basically wiping the floor with them. Oh, and there we go. The elves are victorious. But they lost all their melee soldiers. So if they were attacked by melee, the enemy would just need to have a decent amount of troops, and they would be just able to walk right through their armies, because archers don't really have any melee attack. Alright, well, hope you've enjoyed. This is basically just kind of showing off this game, and if you want to see more of it, let me know, and we'll see you in the next one.